I adore everything that we talked about in this episode on where to even get started with pursuing your passions. And I think our stories are such a beautiful source of inspiration for so many people.
This episode, I feel, is for the people who feel this inner calling to pursue something a bit different, but needs maybe a little bit of a support system, a little bit of a push, some inspiration.
I feel like I can promise you that you're gonna walk away with something really powerful and really beautiful. Something that you will want to write on a little post-it and stick on your wall.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about daring to pursue your passion. I'm Astrid.
And I'm Hannah.
Welcome to State of Heart.
Today we're drinking a green tea, which is a lemon buttermilk tea from Sing Tea House.
Our favorite tea house in Copenhagen.
Favorite tea house ever. Right?
Favorite tea house ever.
On the topic of pursuing your dreams, I'd love to hear you, Astrid, where you're at right now with that, like how that theme resonates with your life right now.
So pursuing my passions and my dreams feels very raw and very present and vulnerable right now, because I'm in this state of pouring a lot of energy into some really new things that are taking form. And I just launched the Cyclical Creative, my really beautiful online space community, in December. And it's still just this tiny, tiny baby that I'm nurturing. And it's a very vulnerable process to keep pouring your heart into something without seeing the results straight away. So right now I'm very much in a place of letting go of the need to see the results straight away, and like really leaning into learning to trust the process and allow the process to take whatever form it takes. And release the control, because I'm not in control. I'm just showing up, doing my best, doing what feels true to me. But things also need to find their own place in the world outside of me. My creative projects need to like get their own life. And that's very much the state I'm in right now. How about you? How does it feel present within your life right now to pursue your passions?
I feel like over this past year and a half, I really made a decision to go all out and just live unapologetically and go for it in terms of, creating Aura Heart Space, which is my ceremonial space where I do sessions and ceremonies with people. And doing that was a big step for me to really take action towards that. And now I feel like I'm in a place where I'm super comfortable in it. I show up and share without fear in that area. It's like I created a new safe space within something that was previously scary. Really daring to show who I am and what I believe in. And now it's pursuing my passion is opening up vulnerably in a different way. It's a different space, because I'm a multi-passionate person.
Yes.
So it's okay, now I've created a safe space to go for it and, pursue my passion in Aura and do that now effortlessly. But there's this creative, vulnerable side of me that also wants to be pursued, which is more of a singing and playing music and writing and expressing myself in a more, I want to say, private way, and sharing myself privately, kind of also like we're doing here. Like, this is also super vulnerable.
Yeah, more raw and authentic,
Yeah.
kind of without a mask. Not that we're putting a mask on in the other things that we do, but I think showing up sort of as the teacher or like sharing
Role model. There's like
a
a
role model,
yeah.
yes. There's a really fine line between like learning to navigate between being showing up as the big sister and the role model and then accidentally sometimes performing a little bit within that space, in my experience.
Yeah, there's this like rawness, right? That's like calling for both of us. We're both in like a raw state today, which makes sense.
Yeah. And I think what I really want this episode to be, like we talked about, is for the women who want to step into the dreamiest version of themselves and who wants to pursue their passions, their dreams, and create a life outside of the norm, who are craving to feel seen and less alone in this, because this journey can just appear so perfect from the outside, which it's definitely not. And there's also an aspect of where do we even begin? How do I even know whether this is something I'm supposed to pursue? How do I know where to start pursuing it? How do I create the opportunities for myself?
Oh my god, that is gold. You said it right there.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Tapping into what I just said, I would love to ask you, Hannah, how did you get started with creating Aura Hot Space, and how did you make that decision?
I think it's not a linear process necessarily, but I'm brought back to this scene right now where I just got my coaching education. Like the day I got certified, I called up one of my best friends and I was just in a deep state of anxiety.
Wow.
Because I kind of, I guess, knew that I had to do something with it, and there was a part of me who chose to take this education because it's my passion, obviously, but there was this part of me who was so afraid and felt so small and so young. I was, I think, 21 when I got my coaching education, which is very young. I was the youngest on the team. The others were in their 30s and 40s. And I just felt like this huge imposter syndrome, I guess. And like, I knew I had this strong, like, mission, and I knew that I could help others, which I had really learned that I could on the education that I took. Like, I was coaching these adult people and was very successful, but the part of I knew that I had to put myself out there. I had to post about it. I had to share. I had to take a stand that this was the work that I was doing. And being so afraid that people were going to think, oh my God, she's way too young to do that. Who does she think she is? She can't help anyone. She's only 21 or whatever I was. Now being 23, which is, I mean, not that much older, but I'm just in a completely different place now. But yeah, that was where that journey, that's the memory I was brought back to and where that journey kind of started. And then I remember I had been hiding that I was like quite spiritual for a long time. And I kind of think I did that because I wanted it to be my little secret. Like I liked having that to myself and not having it as like a performative thing. And so when I started posting about the coaching stuff that I was doing, it was with like a very non-spiritual, like I was kind of hiding it because I had been told by people in my life to disguise that part of my methods or my beliefs because I might scare people away.
So the way that you first showed up online,
Yeah.
allowing yourself to be seen in your work, was actually not in your own truth
No.
fully.
A part of it was, but most of it was not my own words or my own language, I would probably say. And long story short, I had a few clients, but it didn't really work. I was feeling like the sessions were super powerful because I was me and I was putting all my spiritual stuff in the sessions.
So talented.
Yeah, thank you. But like the communication outward was not true to who I was. And so I made a decision to change that. I don't remember why or how it happened. I just changed and started really posting more about doing cacao ceremonies and sessions with cacao because I had felt this really strong call to bring cacao into mentoring and coaching sessions.
Yes.
And started posting about that. And it got so much response. And I'm not saying like, 1,000 people went in my DMs or whatever, but like the response was completely different. People were resonating and being like, oh my God, I want to try this. And like, there was a different energy. I think because I was creating the space that I longed for. That was that simple. And it resonated with people.
Yeah.
Because of course, it's that simple.
I think when you create something that you truly believe in yourself and that you've been craving yourself, something that you just think is so incredibly beautiful, others are inevitably going to resonate with that.
Yeah.
Others are going to see the beauty in what you create. And when we share something, we don't just want to reach everyone. We want to reach the right people. Yeah. So
it was a big learning lesson for me to really learn to see the importance of my voice and the importance of daring to stand out. Because before that, I was kind of hiding. Still hiding. Even though I put myself out there, I was hiding behind the right words and the right way and the way other people did it. And really what that did was it made me invisible. It didn't make an impression on anyone. It was just little Hannah, right? And then reversing it and really being like, okay, but there's a reason why I'm called to help other people, be a mentor. There's a reason why I've been called to do it so young. And really start to honor that. And shit, it worked.
Yes.
I'm going to leave it at that, I think. Yeah, that's the first chapter of that journey.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you for opening space. I love hearing stories about how people's journeys started. And I'm super curious because you spoke about the cyclical creative, but this is like a new project for you. Yeah. And in order to get where you could even start sharing that, you really took some big steps.
Yeah, and we go way back.
Yeah. I'd love to hear about that shift. When did you know that you had to like step out?
I knew that I had to step out because I realized that I wasn't practicing what I was preaching. And I've been showing up online for as long as I can remember. I think I've been doing social media work since I was like 12. I started my first blog because I've always had such a big passion for telling stories and words, images. It's like a really beautiful art form for me to share storytelling online. And I have been doing that within the brand that I have now, the personal Instagram page that I have now for around a year and a half, I think. And it has felt very true all of the time. but at the same, I can really tap into what you're saying about kind of trying to mimic what everyone else is doing and having actually a fear of just not showing up perfectly enough. And then half a year ago, I think my being left by my partner and having my whole life just crash right in front of me, that was the ultimate loss of control. And that really applied to every single aspect of my life, including the way that I share online. And I realized this does not feel truly purposeful to me. There is something deeper beneath it. There is something that I'm sharing here that feels really true to me, but I want to do it in a different way. I just didn't know how. But letting go of the need to control everything allowed the right path to just show itself to me and come to me in a really natural way. And that was how the Cyclical Creative was born. It just came to me one day, like, I need to create this space. Whoosh. And I felt this is the best idea I have ever had in my entire life. This is the idea that has felt like truest to me ever. This is the gift that I want to gift to the world. And I saw how everything I have been learning throughout my whole life, everything that has been feeling like such a big part of me, finally came together in this space, in this gift. And so I just decided to go all in on that. And something that has also felt really powerful in this process has been to just not force myself to show up when I don't know what to share. Not to force myself to create. I'm not saying that you shouldn't practice stepping into a creative state, because I think that is our own responsibility, and we can do a lot to tap into our creativity. But sometimes we just need to give ourselves the space and the time to allow things to come to us in order to show up in our truth. And to me, that is like living in my truth now, is just letting go of this need to control everything. And then everything comes more naturally to me. Yeah, so I think that was the turning point for me.
One of many.
One of many turning points, because there've been so many. And
because I'm thinking about, let's say we have a viewer who is completely raw and new in sharing themselves, right?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about, I remember when we met like half a year ago, we talked about I'm going to commit myself fully to this work.
Yes.
There had been like a recent shift. And you quit your studies.
Yeah.
And like that part. Do you want to share about that?
Yeah. I think that now is over half a year ago, actually. I used to be a woodworker, a carpenter, and as passionate as I am about that, it was just not the right path for me at that time and place in my life. And wow, sometimes we need to learn things the hard way. And I did that because I ended up actually really, really not feeling well at that point of my life. And ultimately, so I had God gave me so many signs. You gotta step out of this. It's not rewarding to you. This is not purposeful to you. And I was just being pushed further and further away from my core self, I think, until I was at a point where I just had no choice but to quit that education and to sit with how I was feeling. And I realized I need to stop making myself a victim of my own decisions. I am not a victim of my own decisions. Obviously, speaking from a privileged point of view, I have the power to create the life that I want, and it is my responsibility. It is no one else's responsibility. And that was when I decided to just devote myself fully to only doing what feels purposeful and not doing anything that doesn't feel purposeful.
Did you feel like you were hiding when you were taking the education to become a woodworker?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it was such an ego thing, I think. I felt so cool. I still feel so cool that I know how to build a house. Like,
Yes!
that is so cool, especially
so
as
cool.
a woman. And I think living in Denmark, having an authorized education is really important, especially because we have the privilege that we have the opportunity to get an education for free. And I felt the need to do that. But I just realized this is just yet another thing that is pushing me further away from my path. But I kept pushing away, actually taking the steps leading me in the right direction. I just kept doing all these things and telling myself, on the other side of that, you're gonna step into this new version of yourself. Once you finish this education, you can pursue your passions.
Yeah, and we are a lot of people who live in that kind of conditioning, right? Like, you have to do what is required of you by society.
Yeah.
You have to be educated. You have to have something to fall back on, right?
Yeah.
A safety net. In reality, you're just wasting so much time when you can feel that you're in the wrong place, right? And it takes so much courage to step out of that. And I feel we're also both quite privileged that we've had support from the people around us in dropping out of educations and not going the academic way.
Yeah.
I believe that you can balance both, but for us, it was a part of the journey to just really fully let go of that identity.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's powerful.
It's really powerful. And at the same time, I want to say I had no choice.
I resonate with that.
I had no choice. I could not live in any other way. And I'm sure that a lot of you watching this are probably thinking, I cannot be in this life that is so constructed around me but doesn't feel true to me, and how do I step out of this?
Yes, just feeling like up to here, like I cannot hide anymore.
Exactly.
Where are my people? Like
Exactly.
this part of our soul who's just calling to be fed and recognized and been like born into creation, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like we are, like, every human has this little seed of creation inside them.
Yeah.
And then we are some who cannot help but listen. You know? Like, I think a lot of people go their whole lives and never listen to that little seed. Whereas some people, they have no say. It's just the seed grows on its own, and one day you're so filled up by the flora in your stomach that you just burst out flowers.
Yeah. I think we all have the ability to tune into that.
Yeah.
And I actually want to mention another turning point for me, which was
Please do.
discovering the power of my womb. Yes. Because around a year and a half ago, I learned about my cyclical connection, like my cyclical nature as a woman. At least that is when I really truly started to dive deeper into it. And that planted a really powerful seed within me as well, which eventually made me turn my life around 180 degrees and just make the decision to actually educate myself within hormones, hormonal health, and herbalism, and create the cyclical creative.
Which I want to mention, both of our educations are like not authorized by
Yeah.
the state, so we've had to finance that
Ourselves.
and like really choose that. It's not
Yeah.
a supported path, right?
No.
And that's, I think, valuable because if you don't know that, it can sound still like a safe choice in a way.
Yes.
Like, oh, then I went this academic way.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, it's not academic.
And in Denmark,
the
it's a
strict
really
sense.
it's a really big thing to make this investment into your own education, because society is built around a like state renowned education, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our education system is free. So
Yeah.
paying for an education is a big deal.
It's a very big deal. And it feels incredible to do this investment.
Yeah.
Invest in ourselves. Invest in yourself. You deserve that.
Yeah, because making an investment, I mean, it's a privilege to be able to, if you finance it yourself or you get support from family members or whoever it might be, it's a big step in really trusting yourself and making a decision like, I'm gonna pursue this passion that I have. And that's also like what I had with my coaching education, right? Like, okay, I fucking chose this and now I'm being pushed to work with it, right? Yeah. But tell me more about the womb.
Oh, more
When it
about the
opened.
womb. It opened ultimately my intuition fully up, I think, because our wombs are our source of creation. This is not only where we birth babies from, but we birth new creative ideas, and our wombs just truly hold so much power. Womb and earth are one. We're all made up of the same magic matter, and I just think tuning into your womb is the biggest gift that you can give yourself. It is so incredibly powerful, and now I'm able to listen to my womb, to hear her voice. I can like very specifically tell when my womb is speaking to me or when God is speaking to me. I know that might sound different in everyone, but to me there's like a really clear voice that speaks to me, and my womb always tells me the truth regardless of if that's what I want to hear. And I think that was such a big struggle for me as well, leaving the kind of traditional path behind. I always had this fear, and even though my intuition was telling me to leave it behind, I tried to dim that, I tried to push that voice away until eventually it couldn't be pushed away anymore. Yeah, because your intuition always knows deep down, what's true to you, and it's so risky and so scary to choose to walk that path. But once you do, you will find so many aligned opportunities opening up to you. There's this quote in the Bible. Yeah. Never thought I would be one to quote the Bible, but this really, really resonates with me. No good tree bears bad fruit, and no bad tree bears good fruit. So a good tree can only bear good fruit. And I think that's such an important reminder when speaking of choosing to walk the path that feels true to you. It can only take you in the right direction. There is no way that living in your truth can be wrong or turn out in a bad way. It can only lead to good stuff, because living in your truth guides you deeper into your truth. And it also reflects onto others. It attracts people that are living in their own truth, And it allows you to teach others as well, inspire others to live in their truth.
Thank you for that. That's such a beautiful quote. Oh, I love it. You shared it with me before, but it was a very good reminder.
Yeah.
So in the work I do with my clients, we talk a lot about separating the heart's call and the mind's fear. You could also call it like the heart's wisdom, the heart's deeper knowing, you know, like the heart's trust, the heart's like foundation, the core of who you are. And then the mind is all these stories, projections, fears that come in and interrupt when you are beginning to feel or listen to this heart's call. And knowing the difference between the languages that these two parts of you speak is so valuable when tuning into your passion and whether to follow a calling you have or really what's at stake for you to follow this. Because when we get a calling, a message from our heart, this is it. This resonates deeply. There's something for me here. The mind will go, but what about that? Then what if you have to drop out of your education? And what if your family is going to be like, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. Or you're going to lose all your friends because no one your age does that. Or no one in your circle does that. And that's weird. And no one's going to hire your services or choose to support you because it's weird and it's blah, blah, blah. All this like mind stuff, right? We all, I think the listeners also can recognize this voice. We all have it.
We all have it.
It's an insane person living in your head.
A reminder that nobody's path is perfect and easy like it seems from the outside, because we all have that little person, annoying person.
But learning to recognize, that's a voice.
That's a voice.
That's your mind. That's not your heart.
No.
If we can draw our consciousness and our values into our heart and start leading our life, choosing to follow our heart from this place, it's the state of heart. It's a completely different way to live.
Yes.
And when we do this, I think it's very important to note, this is a lot of the work I do with my clients, because they are called to follow their heart. They are like us who, they can't help, they can't hide. They have to follow their heart. The mind inevitably goes crazy, or the ego, if you want to call it. It'll go like, no, this isn't who you are, this is not the right way, and what if this happens, and this and that, and it'll just throw all these like horrible scenarios at you because it's so freaking scared of change. And there's such a value in recognizing that is fear. And the fear comes from the unknown because you don't know how it's going to turn out. The fear is projection. It's not real. Your heart knows what's real. And that's really the valuable lesson. The heart doesn't lie. The heart is not able to lie. It's just not. And the mind doesn't know it's lying. It's just scared. It's like a small child, just like, wah! I want to go in the dark, there's monsters! Yes. And the heart's like, no, there isn't.
Yeah. And how are you supposed to know how to walk a path that you've never walked before? Like, you would never ask someone directions for somewhere they haven't been. So don't expect yourself to know the directions. Just listen to the truth in your heart. That's the direction.
Yes.
One step at a time.
Let's say there's someone watching right now, and it's their first time that they're going to start following their passion. The first time they're going to learn to listen to their heart and really take action on that. What would you give of advice to this person? Like, where should they begin? How should they know whether this calling they have in their heart is right? Or, how would you guide them into starting this journey?
This is very juicy, I feel. This is where we get into some really good, actionable advice stuff. As I mentioned before, I think intuition is key. So allowing yourself to listen to that intuition and doing that from a state of non-judgment. So not forcing anything specific to come through, but really sitting with yourself and listening. What comes to me? For me, personally, that looks like, for example, doing a womb meditation, massaging my womb in the evening, creating a really beautiful sensual ritual, exploring my senses, allowing me to tap into my body and into the present moment where a message can come through very clearly. And once that message comes through, no matter what that sounds like, I will not dim it or try and change it inside my head. But I will listen to that heart and womb message that comes through. And this can come to you in many different ways. So I want you to think of this calling, this thing that you feel you're supposed to do. Maybe you're not 100% certain about it, but you have something that really lights you up when you speak about it, that you feel drawn towards. And I want you to just explore that. Just allow yourself to explore. You don't have to make a huge decision to leave your education behind right now, or to quit your job, or to move to a different country. You can explore things and go a little bit out of your comfort zone slowly and gently. You can set aside an hour, 2 hours a day to explore your passion project. You can challenge yourself to speak openly to others about what you're passionate about. You can do exercises, writing exercises, creative exercises, explore from a state of non-judgment, and allow yourself to create just for the sake of creating and not for the sake of a specific product coming out of it. Because once again, circling back into the letting go of the need of control, when we stop trying to control everything, that is when the most powerful messages and creative works come through. Because when you are not trying to control the outcome of your practices, you open yourself up to divine intervention. When you start listening to these signs and you start allowing yourself to just live in your truth, live in the journey, it will come to you. So lean back, not in a way that means not to take action, but
lower the bar.
Lower the bar and know that there's no way you can control the outcome of your practices, your creative practices. So there's no really need to try and control that. That's just giving out your energy to something that's not purposeful. So pour your energy into what feels purposeful, regardless of what that is. Allow yourself to sit with it on your own also, I think. For me, it has been really difficult to navigate in making big decisions in my life. It has been really difficult to finally step out of my old education and to step onto a new path in a lot of ways. It's been totally easy and self-explanatory in like other ways, but it has had some really tough parts to it. And here it has helped me to sit with it by myself and to not ask others immediately, what do I do here? What is the right answer? What do you think? Because when I ask you, you will project your own insecurities and your own
limiting beliefs
onto me, and I don't need that.
Yeah. Totally. I think there's such a value in protecting that part of you. Not that you should keep it secret, but choosing wisely who you're sharing with. And really knowing that something, if it feels fragile, it's all about nurturing the soil. And I think what we speak from a place where we're both really sharing ourselves and sharing our passion projects with a larger group of people.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily what you should be doing when you're just starting out. Like, it's all about practicing, and I think you spoke a bit into this, but really also going back to the difference between the mind and the heart, really not neglecting that the mind is scared, because that will, I mean, we have to embrace what's happening inside of us, but really learning to slowly implement more of your passion into your life and teaching your mind it's safe.
Yeah.
It's not going to ruin our life. It's not going to rip us of our identity. We're just gently letting our heart and our soul fill more in our life. And where that will lead you, you don't know. It's all about practice. And we both, speaking from this place of where our passions and our souls fill up like 99% of our lives, right? That's one way, but we didn't start there. It's been years and years, like our whole life building up to this point. Like we're at a really high point.
Yeah.
And it's recent. Like it's been like this past year where it's really like starting to peak more and more. And I think that's so important to acknowledge that it's not necessarily going to be easy.
No.
It's going to feel easy once you're there. But I always like to say that choosing to follow your heart and remembering to follow the heart, choosing the heart's way, that's not easy. That's difficult. It's challenging for your mind. But living from your heart, being in your heart, once you're there, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Yes.
It's the easiest thing you can do.
It is.
Being in the mind is much more difficult. It's much more scary because you're constantly scared. Even though you're in your safe space, you're constantly scared of what's going to happen to you. And yeah, it's just really valuable to know that there's a difference there. And it's not like a linear path. It's going to be ups and downs and roundabouts, and you're going to feel like you're probably cycling back again and again, and these old parts of you that are afraid that are coming up, and you're going to have to meet these parts of yourself again and again. But each time, it will be easier. Much easier. And at one point, it'll be like us, where you have a safe space where you're not scared anymore. And then you might be initiated into doing another thing where you might be scared. Like we're both doing.
That never stops, you know?
It never stops, but you can stop it. I don't want to say stop it. That sounds like a bit intense, but you can create a safe space for yourself in parts where you are afraid now. You just have to choose it.
Yeah. Life is so easy when you live from your heart, because once you start living from your heart, there is just no other way.
Yeah, you can't go back.
You can't go back.
Once you taste the honey, you can't eat, I don't know, it says sugar. That's such a bad comparison.
I want to just brush over perfectionism.
Okay.
Because that comes up to me when you speak of all these things that just sound so easy. And yes, it is easier said than done. And I think for a lot of people, perfectionism could be a really big part of this. Because once you pursue something that you're so passionate about, you want to be so perfect about it. I always try and tell people if they have something that they want to share with the world, but they don't feel ready for it, I always try and tell them, you will never feel ready. This will never feel perfect to you because you practice every single day, and that means you will get better at what you do every single day. So you could wait a year from now with sharing your gifts with the world. And yes, it will be much, not perfect, but much closer to perfect, much better, much fuller, and more experienced in a year. But that doesn't matter, because you can do that for your whole life. You can keep pushing things forward and forward and never actually sharing your gifts with the world because of the fear of not showing up perfectly. But there is no such thing as perfect, regardless of, like, no matter how cliche that might sound. There really is no such thing as perfect. We had it as well when we were creating this podcast. We were talking about all these things, like, oh, do we need a better microphone? Do we need, like, a more professional setup? Do we need, like, all of these things? Do we need to edit a really beautiful, pretty, cool intro?
Yeah.
No, we just need...
That's not what it's about.
It's not what it's about. We just need to pour our hearts out into the world and allow the work of art to expand and grow alongside us, along with us. And I think showing up on social media has really taught me a lot when it comes to perfectionism, because I've been sharing openly for so many years. And looking back, I have obviously become so much more talented since I first started. But what has taught me the most is the sharing itself. It's the process itself.
You learn by doing.
You learn by doing. I held my first live sisterhood gathering inside the Cyclical Creative just a few days ago. And it was so powerful to just step into this room. We were 4 women, which is not a lot. But wow, 4 women showing up, being fully present, allowing me to hold space and step into my feminine leadership. That was so powerful. And you actually reminded me beforehand to, because I was so focused on how can I scale this, you know? And you told me, how about just allowing it to be the way that it is, leaning into it, because this is a really beautiful opportunity for you to get to know the women who are already in this space. What are they craving? Once you start sharing your gifts with the world, you see how it resonates with other people. And that is something you will learn a lot from. And it's also something that you will gain a lot of confidence from. For me, if I know my work just reaches one person, resonates with one person, that is the biggest reward. And that makes everything worth it.
And I think we are so afraid of kind of showing other people that we are in a new vulnerable state, because we just want to feel like we have it all figured out, and we want people to think like, oh my god, she's on a roll, doing amazing, and like everything's like super successful and good. Where in reality, like, I remember when I went to writing school, when we had these like when we were reading to like audiences what we had read, a lot of us were like super nervous, and we just wanted to like be good at reading. And the teacher told us it can actually really help to tell the audience that you're nervous. So like a part of like acknowledging that you're in and trying something for the first time, or you're feeling like you're vulnerable in it, or like just not necessarily sharing that, but just acknowledging it and not trying to hide that this is a new thing.
Yeah.
It can be so powerful, and it really breaks down the barrier to where you're not like this high role model figure. You're a real human being. Yes. And we can really have a connection because we're not pretending. No one's going to connect with someone who's pretending.
No.
Unless you want to pretend. I don't know.
We're just people.
Yeah. At the end of the day. And we're so scared of each other. But there's nothing to be afraid of.
No.
Yeah.
There is nothing to be afraid of. And at the end of the day, it's about making that connection in your mind. With your heart. That when you live from your heart, nothing can go wrong. Yeah. When you live in your truth, it will guide you closer to your truth.
That was it, right?
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think we covered some really beautiful stuff.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of State of Heart. It was super nourishing for me to really kind of acknowledge this journey and what it takes. And if there's one thing I hope you take away, it's that it's safe to follow your passions. And I hope you're left feeling like there is people like you who really feel that there's a deeper calling than what's expected of them or required of them. And there are spaces where you can connect with like-minded people who share this calling. And if that is just taking a tiny baby step, then that's completely beautiful.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Because you are enough as you are.
Yeah.
And choosing to live in your truth and pursue what you're passionate about, that's the most beautiful thing you can do to yourself.